Boxing truth here. Let's talk about this Golovkin situation and how Abel Sanchez is terrified, pretty much knows that his boy can't beat Canelo Alvarez or Billy Joe Saunders. The strategic ducking already in place. I'm really disappointed with Golovkin's actions, especially of his team. They're putting stuff in his ear, trying to use excuses on why the Canelo fight can't happen, when it's a very easy fight to make, especially that Golden Boy side and Canelo side are very interested in making the fight because they know Canelo's going to beat the shit out of Triple G. That's why they're very interested in the fight. They're willing to take it in September as well. You really think Canelo Alvarez is scared after this performance, where he pretty much, Golovkin had a heavy bag in front of him, no defense, no head movement, no counter punch coming back? That's why Golovkin was explosive in this fight. He knocked out a heavy bag. A guy coming off 2 years layoff, inactivity, didn't have the best punch resistance. Timing wasn't there, wasn't sharp, defense wasn't as sharp, and no counter punching coming back. That's why the Golovkin of old returned. Because Golovkin is capable of knocking out guys that are in front of him, that are willing to cooperate with him, trade with him, and they don't have any counter-punching skills, which Vander Martirosyan didn't display in this fight. But this is what happens when Golovkin fights Canelo Alvarez, though. See all that missing? Can't hit the guy. Hitting nothing but air. Getting straight lace with combinations in return. Golovkin was hesitant to throw those type of punches. Was only trying to touch Canelo. Wasn't willing to go to the body because he kept getting straight laced with counters in return. Felt the power. Golovkin doesn't want to acknowledge that, though. Wants to continue to shit on Canelo. But we all know he was shook going into this fight, especially after the positive tests. Complained to the commission in order for the fight to be canceled, even though in reality the fight would have went ahead if the fight wasn't taking place in Las Vegas. But Abel Sanchez is scared to death of going through with this fight. They want Canelo to be administered in the Nevada program, even though he's not required to do so. Because Canelo was suspended, he's not required to do testing until the suspension is lifted. That's according to Nevada's protocol, according to their rules. But since Golovkin is, shook up about having to fight Canelo Alvarez again, he wants Canelo to administer VADA testing immediately. And Golden Boy's team and Canelo's team have complied. They say they'll enter the program as soon as possible, since Canelo is under pressure by the WBC to enroll in the program, or else he will be removed from the rankings. But look how soft boxing has become. Imagine if Brian Hopkins told Felix Trinidad, "Nah, you gotta do VADA testing, dog. Well, I ain't fighting you." Imagine if Marvin Hagler told Sugar Ray Leonard, "You gotta do VADA testing, bro. Well, I ain't fighting you." Smell pussy in this motherfucker. I mean, Golovkin, it still takes a good fighter to beat him. He's a monster against stationary targets. But your boy got some Deontay Wilder in him. Definitely some yellow streak. He's definitely shying away from these two fights. I mean, he's not even interested in fighting Billy Joe Saunders anymore. Their team hasn't really been pushing for that fight. And now you got Abel Sanchez lying to the media. I mean, what the fuck is he talking about? He's telling the media that Golovkin won't be unified champion because Billy Joe Saunders is never gonna fight him, even though everyone knows, and the Golovkin fanboys know as well, that Billy Joe Saunders signed a contract to fight Golovkin just last year, just last summer. The fight didn't happen because Golovkin finally agreed to fight Canelo. He had an agreement in place to fight Canelo. That was the fight people wanted to see. So he ended up fighting him because that was just a way more bigger fight. But Saunders signed a contract before that fight was finalized. But you got Abel Sanchez lying to the media, saying that Saunders don't want to fight him, that he's going to ask for a certain type of money, even though he agreed for far less than what he asked for against Danny Jacobs. He probably only got a $1.5 million guarantee to fight Golovkin in Kazakhstan in a fight that was being considered for the summer of 2017, prior to the Canelo fight being finalized. Golovkin left him hanging, understandably, wanted the Canelo fight, but ever since Saunders had that performance against David Lemieux, it pretty much scared away Team Golovkin. Abel Sanchez and Golovkin himself, they haven't really shown any interest in wanting to finalize that fight. They could have waited until June to unify with Billy Joe Saunders instead, but instead they fought Martirosyan instead. They're trying not to get stripped by the IBF. They've appealed that decision about having to fight Derevyanchenko in August. I don't even give a shit about that fight. I'd rather see Golovkin fight Canelo. And if he's not going to fight Canelo, he might as well fight Billy Joe Saunders, since he's talking about all the belts. He wants to be undisputed. But ever since Saunders had that performance, man, Golovkin and his team don't seem like they want any smoke with Billy Joe Saunders, because Abel Sanchez knows that Triple G at this stage can't beat Billy Joe Saunders. He knows that he cannot beat Canelo Alvarez. Why? Because this is what happens when he fights Canelo Alvarez. He can't hit the guy. He's too damn slow. He doesn't look like no monster, because Canelo has something called defense, head movement, upper body movement, knows how to counter. That's something Golovkin in his whole career that I've noticed prior to the first Canelo fight. He's never fought a guy that punches back at him. He never fought a guy that counters him or makes him miss and makes him pay. That's what I've noticed about Golovkin's career. He's been matched against guys who don't know how to counter, that they're pretty much, they lead, but they don't know how to counter. They stand in front of him. They're big-ass targets, just like Martirosyan was a big-ass target against Golovkin. And that's why he was able to look like the Golovkin of old. But I'm telling you, when he fights Canelo or when he fights Billy Joe Saunders, it's going to be a different story. Because those guys are on another level. Those guys are just too goddamn defensively elusive. Those guys are the elite middleweights in the world. And that's why Golovkin's team are making excuses on why the Canelo fight has only a 10% chance of happening. That's why they're not really pushing for the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Just look at Abel Sanchez's interview. He pretty much gave up an order of opponents of who he wants Golovkin to fight next. Murata was on top of that list, and I know why. Now Murata, that's a decent fight. I understand why they're interested in that fight. The fight will do big numbers in Japan, and Murata has the perfect style to make Golovkin look good. Murata's a front foot forward, jab, right hand, no special effects, can't counter, lead puncher, no defense, not no great defense. Comes forward, will cooperate with Golovkin. He can make Golovkin look like a monster because of his style. Now Golovkin is still a good fighter, still formidable. There's still a lot of middleweights he could beat, but he can't beat the elite of the elite. Alright? He can't beat Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders, and Abel Sanchez knows that. That's why your boy is making a lot of excuses on why the Canelo fight can't happen. That's why your boy ain't really pushing for the Billy Joe Saunders rematch. because your boy can't beat those guys. Not at this stage. Not right now. So he's going to make it difficult for Canelo's team to agree to a rematch. He's going to try to get better terms at the negotiating table, even though, why should he get better terms this time around? What's changed? He didn't beat Canelo the first fight. Couldn't even sell out the StubHub in this fight against Monterosian. De La Hoya wasn't lying. He got outsold by a fucking prospect. Sure, the ticket prices were much different, but how you gonna let a prospect sell more tickets than you, bruh? Took an L to Ryan Garcia already. And now you're gonna make it difficult at the negotiating table to come to an agreement with Canelo Alvarez. It's a damn shame, man. Your boy, a considered monster, a considered boogeyman in the division, but he's got some Deontay Wilder in him. He's got a yellow streak, just like Deontay Wilder, pushing for VADA testing on Canelo Alvarez, even though he's not required to do so. But if that's what it takes to make the fight, fine. You'll get your wish, Golovkin. But when it comes to better terms at the table, nothing's changed. You're going to get the same deal, since nothing's changed since the last fight. Your marketability hasn't improved. You couldn't even sell out the StubHub in your last fight, even though Loeffler was trying to sell the idea that the fight was going to break a record. Wasn't even close. I sense you're going to duck the rematch. I hope I'm wrong, man. But your team don't really want the fight. Well, Abel Sanchez doesn't want the fight. Loeffler's interested because of it's the biggest fight out there for them. But Abel Sanchez knows you can't beat Canelo. And you're not going to fight Billy Joe Saunders either, even though he's already agreed to fight you. You're going to fight Murata. You might even fight Charlo, because Charlo has a style that suits you as well. His defense ain't great. There's still a lot of middleweights Golovkin can beat, but you can't beat the elite. And that's Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.